I'm not on.
There you
Here
go.
I am. There were 3 items on the closed session agenda. Item number 1, the City Council gave direction to its labor negotiators. Items 2 and 3 were not considered tonight, and that ends the closed session report.
Special City Council meeting is now adjourned. That's now called to order. We'd like to call to order the regular City Council meeting. City Clerk, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Ashton?
Present.
Councilmember Frometa?
Present.
Councilmember Saab?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pacheco?
Present.
And Mayor Rodriguez.
Here. At this time, I'd like to call on Pastor Alex Vargas to do invocation.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Let's go ahead and bow our heads and close our eyes and pray. We come before you tonight, Lord, thanking you for another day of life that you've given every single one of us. Lord, I pray as we start this council meeting that your presence would fill this place, Lord. I thank you for every single council member here represented, God, here in this beautiful city of Downey. I pray you continue to guide and lead them in your ways. We thank you for every department that's represented here tonight as well, our police, our fire. We thank you for the safety of our men and women who put on their uniform day out, day in and day out, Father. I pray for protection over every single one of them, God, and over our city. We thank you that the city of Downey is a shining light in LA County and is an example to our surrounding communities. Have your way. We thank you for this beautiful city of Downey. In your name we pray. Amen.
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 I now ask my council colleague, Claudia Frometa, please lead us in the flag salute.
Yes. Can you please put your hand over your heart? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, well, welcome to our City Council meeting. Let's have City Council member announcements. Requests for future agenda items and conference reports, starting with Alex Saab.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Welcome, everyone. A couple people I do want to recognize in the audience. I have my planning commissioner, Noveris Frometa, in the audience. Welcome. And also representing the Downey Unified School Board, Nancy Swenson. I saw her somewhere in the back. There she is. And then we're going to recognize someone tonight, but I do want to say a couple comments before, because I'm not going to have an opportunity. We have Roy Beard in the audience here with his lovely wife, Barbara, and I just want to congratulate Mr. Beard. Roy's a good friend of ours. He's a fellow Kiwanian, and he's been a fixture here at City Hall and at City Council meetings, and it's long overdue that you're recognized. So congratulations, Roy Beard. And also representing the Downey Chamber of Commerce, the Executive Director Michael Cowart and President-elect Carrie Uva. Yeah. I'll make my comments brief. Just a couple announcements. I think our mayor is going to be attending this Friday's exciting the KTLA morning news. I think it's Gail on the Run. Is that what it is? Gail on the Run. 5:30 in the morning. If any gung-ho KTLA space aficionados like to attend, she's going to be reporting from the Space Center this Friday morning from 5:30, I think, till 9 is when the Channel 5 morning news finishes, and they're going to be just doing a report there. I think it's in anticipation of a nice exhibit they're doing Saturday with a engineer that did some great things there named Shelby Jacobs. There's a big article written in the LA Times about 2 months ago about him. He was one of the first African-American engineers there at that time it was Rockwell, I think, and he came up with an incredible device that recorded when the Apollo shuttle went up to space. And this is, mind you, in the 60s. We take for granted now, recordings and cameras everywhere, and cameras everywhere we go. But this is in the 60s, so there's going to be.
The 60s wasn't such a bad time to live.
Thank you.
Thank you, children.
So everyone is welcome Saturday as well. It's 12:30 to 2:30 at the Space Center. And then next Saturday is a big day in our city. It is the Healthy Downey 5K Walk. the TLC Healthy Downey 5K walk at Apollo Park. And for those who may not know, TLC is a organization affiliated with our school district that does incredible things for our kids. Oftentimes, like the director Luz Perez says, life happens, and unfortunately, either there may be a death in the family, or a parent may have passed away, or some mental issues, or just a host of things. Sometimes government isn't always place that provides the quickest answer. So TLC was created about 20 years ago, and was to provide that safety gap to help our kids, including homeless kids, things like that. So they do great things in our community. This is their biggest fundraiser of the year, and everyone is invited. 7:30 a.m. at Apollo Park on Saturday, February 23rd. And then lastly, I do want to report out. By law, we do always have to report out whenever we go to a conference on behalf of the city. And last weekend, council colleagues and some of our city management attended the Independent Cities Association. Excuse me if it's a little muffled. We just got new mics. Independent Cities Association Public Safety Conference in Santa Barbara last weekend, and one of the discussions was about the recent passage of allowing marijuana delivery anywhere in the state of California, even to cities that don't allow for the sale, such as the city of Downey. So this has posed a big challenge for our city. So in essence, a city such as ours prohibited the sale to have dispensaries in our city, doing what we thought at that time is what we could within the law. Unfortunately, though, it seems like the direction of the state is to allow delivery from other cities that may allow it into our city. So I do want, if we can, if we can, although it seemed kind of dim on the discussion that day, there's not much the cities can do, but if we can just make sure our city attorney looks into it and see if there's anything that can be done to prohibit that from happening, although I know it's very difficult, but if we can, I think our citizens will appreciate it. And that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Moving on to Claudia.
Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you to the City Council meeting tonight. Thank you for being here. I think part of continuing to have an informed community is people like you taking time out of your busy lives and schedules to join us and be engaged in the process. Again, I would like to recognize the Planning Commissioner and my husband, Noveris Frometa, who's in the audience tonight. As my council colleague, Alex Saab, mentioned, by law, we do have to report. We were part of the Independent Cities Association seminar that took place in Santa Barbara a couple weekends ago. And I have to tell you that the city of Downey won for being the most represented city in attendance. And that really goes to show that as a city, we had, of course, our police chief, our fire chief, our city manager, our assistant city manager, and all of your council, including your mayor. And so that shows the commitment that we have to work hard on behalf of Downey. One of the things, as Councilmember Alex Saab mentioned, aside from the dispensaries and the marijuana issue, one of the things that we also learned is, again, the disaster preparedness and disaster management initiatives. There was quite a lengthy presentation regarding the mudslides that came last year and that Santa Barbara dealt with. And of course, we are very fortunate here in Downey to have a specific individual overseeing, under the direction of our fire chief, disaster preparedness. And so continuing with those efforts, we will continue to support disaster preparedness initiatives, continuing to support our CERT program, and also training for our community and active shooter drills in the near future. So I think that is really important to say. I also participated with a majority of our council on January 24th in the bike launch program. And if you're not familiar with this happened in Discovery Park. This is to continue our city's efforts to become an eco-friendly community. Since January 24th, the bike share program, aside from having these bikes at the Discovery Park, we also have them in downtown Downey, as well as on Gallatin and Lakewood. And so this really is an exciting program for our community. We also supported the Kiwins Walk for Water project this last weekend, and we participated by bringing awareness to our community and surrounding communities regarding the lack of accessible potable water in third world countries. And this was a project that was brought forth by the Kiwins in Downey High School, as well as in collaboration with the Thirst Project. And we were able to carry these 45-pound jerry cans filled with water, by the way. And again, when people have to walk 3 to 5 miles to transport dirty water that causes tremendous illnesses to their families, again, the awareness was well received. And certainly Saturday, there was a packed place at Downey High School, and we were happy to be there. We also attended the library community meeting over the weekend. And again, those of you that are here, that are present, I want to encourage you to share these goings, these happenings with the rest of the community members. Over the next several weeks, we will have a lot of projects thanks to Measure S, the renovation and reconstruction of our city library and its closure. It's coming. And so it is important to be informed and aware of what is happening. And we will do our best to keep you updated and informed. That will conclude my comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Moving on to Councilman Sean Ashton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I also attended the ICA Winter Seminar as I'm on the executive board for that organization. And with this winter seminar, our focus is always on public safety. And so we try to come up with current topics that are engaging, as well as just what people are wanting to learn about. One of the opportunities I had was to sit on a panel, or to moderate a panel, on gun violence restraining orders. And so this is something that I'd never really even heard of until the panel was created. And basically what this is it's a civil court order that either can be originated by law enforcement or family members, where when you have somebody that might not be, for lack of a better word, ready to or emotionally stable enough to handle having firearms, either by threatening actions, social media threats, something like that, you can actually file for a temporary restraining order on that person from having ammunition and or firearms, and that's a 21-day restraining order, court order, and then in 21 days they go in front of a judge and they can, plead their case, and it's just basically it's another tool that our law enforcement officers have to help make our area, our community safer. So for me, just learning about that as a teacher, because I deal with the threat of that kind of every so often with where I teach at. Not like too much, but I mean that's always in the back of your head when you read about shootings at other schools. But it was a unique thing to learn about, and so I'm glad that we had the opportunity to have that. I also attended the library presentation, and I just wanted to thank Councilmember Saab for bringing that up, because I know when we announced that what was going on, we were like looking at all the positives, and we kind of overlooked the negative behind what was going on, in the fact that the library is going to be closed for a year. And I think that was a good idea to let's have a community meeting and just say, how we came up with that year. And Ben Dickow did a great job with presenting that to the community, basically saying, what's happening, almost on a month-by-month basis with what's going to be happening with our library. So I think that was really well received, and again, a great idea. So thank you for that. One other thing, we mentioned that the healthy TLC Healthy 5K. I look forward to keeping my title of fastest on the council. But we might have new competition. I don't know. But before that, I did want to bring up this Saturday coming up on the 16th. There'll be a Keep Downey Beautiful cleanup at Vista Del Rosa in Lakewood, and that's the park and ride lot right by the 5 freeway, north of the 5 freeway. If you have the opportunity to spend an hour of time picking up trash in the area, we do sign volunteer cards for those of you that need volunteer hours for your different schools. We appreciate any type of volunteer involvement with that. And one other thing before I forget, I do have there's from Assemblymember Christina Garcia's office. We have Chad Oberly in the audience as well. And with that, that concludes my comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank
You're
you.
up.
Welcome everyone to our council meeting. I just want to start off with mentioning some events that I attended. Several of us, actually all of us, we all attended the homeless count on January 23rd. And today we are recognizing Kathy Godinez, who helped us in this event, and who's also involved with the Razorbacks. And you'll hear more information about Kathy, but I do appreciate everything that you've done in helping us with the homeless count. I know this is not the first year that you've helped, so I appreciate everything you do, and I appreciate that you're getting recognized today. So thank you. Also on January 24th, I also attended the bike sharing program ribbon cutting. So as you heard from Councilmember Frometa, we are having a bike sharing program here in the city of Downey. So now you can pick up a bike in one location and you can drop it off at a different location. As was mentioned, you can pick up a bike over at the Downey Promenade. You can get a bike near the Green Line. You can also get a bike over at the Gallatin and Lakewood area, and also at Stonewood Mall. So there's different locations you can pick up a bike and now ride to different locations. So this will hopefully get people to get out of their vehicles and start riding bikes. Also, January 30th, I attended Charming China New Year Gala at the Downey Theater. And this was in celebration of the Chinese New Year, which this year is the Year of the Dog. In attendance were, I'm sorry, Year of the Pig. You're right, Year of the Pig. There were people in attendance from throughout Southern California and also throughout the U.S. I actually met a couple from Florida. And what I did hear a lot were people mentioning how wonderful our theater is. And we have exciting concerts at the theater. So if you haven't had the opportunity to go to the theater, our Downey Theater, please look at our program. It's on our website, or actually on Facebook, I believe. So please check it out. I got so many compliments like, wow, you have a theater here. When was this theater built? So it's a gem that we have in our city. So I recommend everyone to please utilize this theater that we have. Also, what was mentioned is independent cities. And as was mentioned, it's a conference geared towards public safety. And I also thought the gun violence restraining order was interesting. It's a civil order. And it's just another, like was mentioned, just another tool that our police can use. This is something that was introduced and became effective January 1st, 2016. And so I also appreciated learning about this. And also, like was mentioned by Councilmember Saab, the deliveries that are now going to be allowed to happen within our city. So I also have major concerns about that, and I would like to see what, if anything, we can do in our city to protect us, because now we're being forced to have these deliveries in our city. And I also did the jerry can challenge where we carried 45-pound jerry cans filled with water. It was tough. I had the help of Councilmember Saab, who I have to say is probably the strongest one here on our council. But I think somebody else was challenged. Were you able to complete the challenge?
I wasn't invited. I didn't know about it, so.
But I believe you were challenged, so hopefully you can complete the challenge.
I'm challenged, I'll take it on.
I hereby challenge.
All right.
So what the challenge is, I don't know if you heard, but it's to bring awareness that in developing countries, there's women and children who have to carry water for miles, and sometimes they can weigh up to 45 pounds. And this is something we take for granted here in the U.S., that we can turn on our faucets and we have clean, potable water that comes to us, where we do not have to actually go somewhere to get the water, which at times is contaminated and filthy. So this was brought by the Kiwans from Downey High School, just to bring awareness of this the situation in developing countries. Also, today, our mayor, Rick Rodriguez, and I, we attended Warren High School's Special Olympics Champion Schools Banner Ceremony. Warren High School was named as ESPN Top Unified Champion School for having athletic programs that are inclusionary. At Warren High School, they have integrated special needs children with the general student population in 3 of their athletic programs. These are basketball, track and field, and cheer. And Warren High School is the first Special Olympics California Unified Champion School to be recognized as a National Banner Unified Champion School. So I have to say, great job, Warren High School. I went to Downey High School, but great job, Warren High School.
Go Bears.
Also, upcoming events, the Downey Rose Float Association is having their installation this Sunday, February 17th at BJ's. The event starts at 1 p.m. And that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
By this time, you've already heard all we've done the past 2 weeks several times. So let's see, let me check this off. I did the homeless count with Blanca. I did the ICA with all these guys. And, I have to tell you that with the Independent Cities Conference, we mentioned the idea of cannabis, and we mentioned the idea of emergency preparedness. And I will tell you that I'm so proud of our city that we're ahead. We're ahead of the curve. We don't allow cannabis to be sold in our city. We don't allow it. We help our law enforcement, be prepared for what's to come and be tough on crime. So in this conference, we see a lot of cities from all over the county and all over the state. And, we're really proud to be, Downey was there in force. We had 10 people there. We were the #1 city in the entire conference. We were there in force. So I'm very proud of our city in that respect. So let's see. I was at Warren High School this morning with Blanca. She already said that I did the jerry can thing. They really cut ahead of my agenda. But I will tell you that my favorite part of this job is I got a chance to spend a few hours with the kids at St. Raymond from kindergarten to 8th grade. I got a chance to spend time with them and talk to them about being the mayor of our city. That's the best part of this job, because you're able to help shape young minds, young people. I did that during the past week. I also spoke at the City Affairs for the Downey Chamber of Commerce. It was held at the Financial Partners office over on Imperial Highway, and I spoke there. As well as we have, another speaking opportunity I had was at Warren High School at their AVID class. The teacher there, Mr. Chaw, invites me to speak there almost every week, and I love it. I love talking to our young people, because I always preach to our young people about pathway to success. And now is the time for them to make the decision what they want to do with their lives. Not waiting until they're out of high school, but now in high school, really focus on it. And I want to give them every opportunity, whether it be the military, the college, trade school, or a job. But I want them to have the opportunity for a pathway to success. So speaking of that, we have upcoming the Military Service Day. That's going to be on the 21st of February at Calvary Chapel in Downey on Imperial and Woodruff. Every branch of military will be there. We've invited all seniors and juniors of all the Downey public schools, as well as the private schools in Downey, Bellflower, and now I heard actually today a couple of kids from Whittier are coming. So we're looking forward to that. On May 4th, we have a family resource fair coming up at a church called New Seasons LA. It's on Paramount Boulevard and the 5 freeway. It's actually an opportunity for those who've ever considered the idea of foster care, adoption, emergency housing for children. We're fortunate in our city, we have 170 foster kids, and out of those foster kids, we are able to take good care of them. So I've been really pushing hard with our Downey Care Collaborative to make sure we take care of all of them. They all graduate, and they all have a family to go to. So on May 4th, we have our Family Resource Center. So that's it for me. If we can operate out of order a little bit, we're going to go to non-agenda public comment. So now it's time for non-agenda public comment. Before we begin the non-agenda public comment period, I'd like to remind members of the audience of the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code. Members of the audience who wish to address the city council during the agenda public comment are prohibited from engaging in any conduct that disrupts, interferes with this meeting, such as yelling, screaming, cheering, or whistling. If the speaker engages in a conduct that disrupts or interferes with the meeting, I will ask the city manager to have the speaker removed from the chambers until the end of the non-agenda public comment period. I remind all speakers that each person has 5 minutes to speak on non-agenda items, and their comments be addressed to me and not to any other council or staff member. Please state your name for the record. Anyone wish to speak, now come forward.
Good evening, Mayor Rodriguez. My name is Faraz. I'm in the 2nd District. So just to understand, from what I was hearing in the earlier statements, that the city want to ban marijuana delivery service, or try to at least?
Well, no, it's a state initiative. We can't ban it. It's something that's now happening all throughout the state. What we have stopped is the sales of marijuana within our city. Right. There's no retail sales in our city.
Right, I understand, and when the city passed that, I spoke out against the initiative. I also understand you want the city attorney to try to see what you can do to stop it, and it's just, for me, I just have to, come and say that, if you try to ban the, I'm just against it, basically. And also, just one quick thing. I mentioned also before that with the ban on marijuana dispensary, that it would encourage people to travel to other cities where marijuana is legal, which of course, which you were concerned about impaired drivers, would increase that. So I just think that if the city tried to prevent marijuana delivery service from coming to the people's house who have to use it, it would only, have people who pick up marijuana from out of the city to increase the risk of impairment. And I just think that the citizens that in Downey that use marijuana, especially for medicine purpose, like seizures and veteran PTSD, would strongly ask you not to ban the people from using the marijuana delivery service. So I just want to say that, and I thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comment. God bless you. Next, step up, state your name, be recognized.
No. My name is Michael Calvert, a longtime Downey resident, and I just wanted to say I also attended the Carrying Water for some reason event in support of our council. And I just thought I'd remind the council that, since I can't talk to him directly, I did challenge council member
Ashton. Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. So, Councilman Ashton, please keep your comments to me alone. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't talk back to me. And then just so, to remind the council as well that council member Fermenta did her carrying the water in high heels.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, that was quite.
So that was part of the challenge as well.
I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do to make it up to everybody. So I'll do the 5K, the hill with the water can.
Okay.
Oh, cut it out. Cut it out.
I might not be the fastest, but I'll do it.
No, you won't get done.
We're not talking a gallon jug of milk.
In heels? In heels.
And And I'd like to remind you, I am
it's
twice your
pretty
age. I had to do it myself. So anyway, that is the end of my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Calvert, for your wonderful
45
ideas.
pounds.
Yeah. Okay.
45 pounds.
Move to close public comment.
Second.
Okay. Seeing no further speakers, non-agenda public comment is now closed. Consent calendars, are there any council members that would like to remove or abstain from any items?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have to abstain from item number 5 and number 8. Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Do
You vote?
okay. So we vote. Please vote.
The consent calendar was approved with Mayor Rodriguez abstaining from items number 5 and 8.
Okay. You want to go to?
Break this.
Yeah, let's if we can, I'm sorry for going out of order. We just have a tough schedule. We're all trying to be somewhere tomorrow, and we got to kind of race through this tonight. So let's go to our administrative reports. And last one, item number 21, establish 2 members of the City Council to serve on the subcommittee. City Manager Levis.
Mr. Mayor, that's an item that I put on the agenda. What I'd like to do is, Eco Rapid is on its way and it's coming, and Metro's in the process of doing all the planning and getting things through, and it's would go from downtown to Artesia. Eco Rapid has done a nice job of getting things done, but I certainly want to make sure that there's appropriate oversight as we move forward. We're part of a number of cities that are participants in it. So I would like to see if I can get 2 council members. I would like to see if I can get Mr. Ashton, who serves on the board, and 1 other council member
I'd like to serve on it. I've had a lot of questions about the Eco Rapid for a long time. I think there's some serious questions that need to be had, and I'd like to serve on it as possible.
I'm actually the alternate, so I don't know if it would make sense for me to be the, because I've attended some of the meetings still. I don't know if it would make sense for me to be also on that subcommittee as a second council member.
That would be a discussion up for the council members.
The only thing is, I think to have fresh eyes. That's the only thing, because I think since you and Councilman Ashton have been on it.
Well, actually, I've only attended 1 meeting.
Oh, so you've only attended 1?
I've attended one meeting.
I'm pretty much attend all the meetings. The meeting tomorrow will be the first meeting I've missed in like a year, only because I'm coming back from a legislative trip. So, I think you bring up the point of having a fresh set of eyes to it, and I see value. Here's what. How about you 2 serve on it, and that way, because I've had concerns, but I think having a fresh set of eyes, I think that's a good thing, and so. If that's okay with you 2, maybe we can do that.
Because I also understand about some of the issues that are going on, so I'd like to be
If you're okay with it, because you're obviously privy to more
I
information.
I wasn't thinking of that, but again, that's why we have these meetings. So we get everybody's perspective. And I think having a fresh set of eyes on that would be a good thing.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
great.
So
so then I'll make the motion to have Councilman Saab and Mayor Pro Tem Pacheco, be appointed to the subcommittee.
I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we need to vote over that, or that's it? Yes, both.
Public comment?
Oh, okay. We take public comment. I'll open this item for public comment. Is there anyone here to present who would like to speak about this regarding this matter?
Move to close public comment.
Second.
Okay. So there's a motion on the table now and a second. Please vote. So seeing how Sean gave up his seat for you, you should carry the water for him and the fire. I'm trying to get you kids to get along. Get you kids to behave yourself.
The motion was approved unanimously.
All right. So moving on, let's go to item number 19, because you had that up earlier, of administrative reports. Item 19, receive and file report on Senate Bill 1437, City Action Administration. City Manager Levis, who's giving a report on this?
Mr. Mayor, that'll be Vanya DeRosa, our assistant to the city manager, will give the report on this. This is an item that the council and specifically the mayor asked for this item to be brought back on some of the efforts to combat this particular legislation. So Vanya will go ahead and give you a presentation on that particular effort.
Thank you, Mr. Levos. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. As mentioned tonight, I'll be going over SB 1437 as well as city actions relating to the legislation. Brief background regarding criminal justice reform, key legislation and effects of that legislation, along with ongoing city actions related to SB 1437, and then current headwinds that we're facing. In regards to key criminal justice reform, as you're aware, California has seen a significant shift in criminal justice reform for the last 8 years. This started in 2011 when the U.S. Supreme Court mandated California to reduce its prison population. This led to the passage of AB 109 and followed by other numerous legislation, including Proposition 57 and 47. In 2018, the state of California saw 9 criminal justice reform legislation related to sentencing pass, including SB 1437. Some of the negative impacts of this key legislation can be seen here on the slide, but to summarize, AB 109 resulted in low-level offenders being released early. Proposition 47 saw a reduction of certain property crimes and drug charges to reduction to misdemeanors, also eliminated DNA collection of certain crimes. Proposition 57 saw a criteria change or increase for nonviolent offenders. And in combination of these 3 key legislations, cities have also seen increases in property crime. Specifically for SB 1437, it has scaled back prosecutors' ability to use the felony murder rule to charge accomplices to a homicide. This directly affects the city of Downey, as one of the accomplices in the fatal shooting of Officer Ricky Galvez, will now be seeing a substantial reduction in his sentencing specifically because of this legislation. Some of the ongoing city actions, the city of Downey is very proactive when it comes to legislation monitoring, and it prepares letters, both opposition and support, when we review the legislation. The city also works very closely with its state lobbyists to ensure that its concerns are voiced at the state level. The city also works with the League of California Cities, and it actually supported a resolution that was presented at its annual league conference. The resolution was titled Strategies to Improve Negative Impacts of Criminal Law. Last year, the city also joined the coalition of Taking Back Our Communities. This coalition aimed at notifying residents of our community of negative impacts of AB 109, Proposition 47 and 57, and what they can do to help amend this legislation. In conjunction with this, the city also supported Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe Act of 2018. This was a ballot measure initiative for the November 2018 ballot. We supported the initiative, but unfortunately it didn't make the ballot. Specifically for SB 1437, the city has been in direct communications with our state representatives, with Senator Bob Archuleta and Assemblymember Cristina Garcia regarding this legislation. The city has also reached out to its state lobbyist and the League of California Cities, who has also shared our information with the League's public safety lobbyist as well. Both the state lobbyist and the League of California Cities has recommended that the city reach out to the California Police Chiefs Association, who is one of the opponents to SB 1437. The city will be reaching out to the association to see if they are taking any actions regarding SB 1437 and if the city can coordinate efforts. Also, in recommendation of the state lobbyist, we are looking into possibly holding a meeting with Senator Nancy Skinner, as she is the author of the legislation, so we can share our concerns with the bill and also the direct impacts the legislation has with the city of Downey. The city will also be passing a resolution reducing crime and keeping California Safe Act of 2020. This is going to be a replica of the 2018 initiative, and this has already reached the required number of signatures for the ballot. And as you're aware, the current headwinds right now with seeking amendments to the legislation will be difficult. There seems to be little appetite to make any changes to the legislation, but the city is working very hard to do its due diligence to voice our concerns with the legislation and seek amendments to it. And with that, that concludes staff report, and staff's available to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from my council colleagues?
No, we appreciate the report, and we appreciate the fact that you're kind of laying everything out there. We kind of have the background on it, but it's good that the public gets to see this as well. So thank you for your hard work in setting this up.
Yes, thank you, Vania. We appreciate the report and look forward to continuing to hear updates regarding this legislation.
Okay, I'll now open this item for public comment. Is there anyone here present to wish to speak on this item, this matter?
Move to close public comment.
Okay.
Move to approve item. Receive file.
Second.
Okay. Moving on, discussion regarding support of Teen Court program. City Manager Levis, who's giving the report on this item?
We have to
On a receive file, do we need to vote? I don't think we need to vote for receive file.
Teen Court item, Teen Court program, that was something I brought up.
If there was a motion and a second, then you take the vote.
Receive and file.
That was my recommendation on that one.
Okay.
The motion was approved unanimously.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, the second, that item, I just wanted to see if the council would agree on a letter of opposition sent to the Board of Supervisors. There's a consideration right now to eliminate the Teen Court program. Teen Court program, I think, Council Mayor Potem Pacheco and I participated as attorneys. It's been around for over 25 years, and what it is it's a program that allows for students in our high schools to act as basically get exposure to the legal system and be jury peers of another high school that committed some kind of delinquent acts and to avoid going to juvenile court and get judged by a jury of their peers. So they take a class at the high school, and we actually have real court order at school board. And 3 judges come. The students act as jurors, they ask questions, attorneys, we just kind of guide them a little bit. But the person who's being accused of the crime, they come in, they get asked questions, and our students, the jurors recommend guilty or not, whether they're guilty or not, whether they find a violation of juvenile is not guilty, so whether they found a violation of the law, and what the sentence should be. Oftentimes the sentence is actually pretty much always something that's he's going to try to reshape that, maybe he's going in the wrong direction. So maybe mentor program, something that comes at home. Require not recommend parenting courses, and also participate in the program itself to get exposed. It's a really good program. We just asking for a letter of support. The school board already, the Downey School Board already, I believe they already took action. She's in the back person. I think the school board already recommended that they were going to write a letter as well. So I'm just asking for
when I was the president of Gangs of Downey, I remember attending those hearings with you guys. It's huge, and it's huge. It's unbelievable a chance to see, number one, a person that's made a mistake, and they're judged by their peers, their same age group, And then the sentencing is done by the judge. It's right there, and it's a fair sentencing. It's a fair. So I fully support it. So
I make a motion to support.
Yeah, I agree also. I've been involved in teen court since 2014, so I see the benefits of the program, not only for the high school students who are asking the questions, but also for the minor who gets in trouble and now has a second opportunity to make amends and become a productive member of society. So I truly recommend teen court, and I fully support Councilmember Saab.
Yeah, the valuable program. Two of my kids, I think, have been involved in the program as jurors, not as the third one maybe. No, but seriously, two of my kids have been involved as jurors, and with my youngest, he's actually kind of come home afterward and like talked to me a little bit about the process, and I can tell that the learning that's going on is something you just can't get out of a classroom. So I highly support the program. I would support this motion.
So what are you going to do?
We'll do public comment, and then we'll just make a motion to recommend that the mayor write a letter written by the mayor. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll take public comment on this matter. Anybody wishing to speak on this matter?
Move to close public comment.
Second.
All right.
Okay.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
All vote, please.
All right.
All right, now see as we're jumping around everywhere. Now it's time for presentations.
The motion was approved unanimously.
I guess you take your break while I go down and do presentation.
Good night.
So first off, tonight we're going to recognize the Mayor's Servant Heart Award, and I chose Kathy Balan Godinez simply because of her heart. We did a few weeks back, we did our homeless count. We're out late at night. She was there at Downey First Baptist Church. Kathy, you want to join me up here? She was down there. Big round of applause, please. Stand right there so I can talk about you, and they can all look at you when I talk about you. So Kathy was there with us all night. She was there. She handles everything from the management aspect to the counting, and we're very fortunate in our city that we have a very aggressive approach to our homeless situation. Homeless is not a problem just for Downey, it's a problem for America. But I think in Downey we found kind of the secret resources, and the secret resources are the volunteer spirit and the churches in our city. So in 2016, our number was 187. In 2017, it was 202. And then we hired a company like Coast to Coast. We brought our PD on to our homeless outreach program. We brought our churches involved. We brought our clergy council involved. And this year, I'm so proud of number 69. And that's because after we all finished everything, Kathy counted all those people that she counted that night, and she sent me a text. She goes, "Hey, Mayor, our number is 69. Now, that doesn't include the kids that may live in a garage somewhere or sleep in a car or live in somebody's home. Those kids fall in a different category of homelessness. But we're doing it right. We're doing it right because of people like Kathy. So, Kathy, I'm recognizing tonight. I got something for you. So, Kathy, in recognition of your selfless dedication and always going above and beyond for others, your heartfelt efforts and accomplishments have been an enormous value to our community and have helped further the common goal of making our city a better place for all. So, Kathy, this is yours. And then you also get a Mayor's Challenge coin. I have to give it to you a certain way. You got to shake your hand like that.
Thank you.
And then you get a pin. I'll let you put that pin on. There you
Thank
go.
you.
There you go. All right. Now say a few words.
Oh, man. First of all, I want to say thank you. I'm very humbled and very blessed to have received this. Oh, my God, I'm so speechless. Just thank you very much. This is so meaningful. All the work that I do, it's really just because it comes from everything that my parents taught me growing up, that it's better to give back, it's better to help than to ask for myself. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the Downey's Finest Award. Tonight we are awarding Roy Beard. Can I get Roy Beard up here? Where's Roy? He didn't leave, did he? Hey, Chief, you want to come and join me up here? Before the Chief comes up here, I want to say a few things about Roy. Roy and I have been friends, and we've been colleagues in the emergency preparedness business for a long time. And there's no greater heart for preparing our city than this guy. So when the opportunity came up to recognize him, the fire department stepped up, and I said, absolutely, let's do it. So, Chief?
Yeah, we just wanted to really take an opportunity and to formally thank Roy Beard for all of his contributions to the emergency preparedness. I've been involved with it for several years, involved with emergency management, and Rakti Cloak, you can come down here as well. I know she works directly with him now. But Roy has been involved and been really a passionate, volunteer in the community that's really taken an active role in the emergency management for the city. And it was recognized by one of our fire captains, Captain Sal Piscitelli, that actually nominated him. And I had no idea that actually he was nominating him. He just did it because he felt it was the right thing to do. So it speaks volumes really to Roy and where his heart is at in the city of Downey. So thank you, Roy, for all you do.
Well, there's one thing about volunteering. You get a lot more out of it than you put in. You meet a lot of great people. You learn a lot. And I see some of my fellow colleagues from my CERT team, my Community Emergency Response team. And if any of you volunteer members of any organization or group is here, along with my CERT members, would like for you to stand. I would like to accept this on behalf of all volunteers. Would you stand, please, if you volunteer with anything, any organization, any group? Please. Thank you. One thing that I would like to say is that years ago, when I was getting involved in a few things, I didn't think I could really make a difference. I just thought, well, what am I going to do? One guy. And I was given something. It's called the Starfish Story. It's on the internet. You can look it up. And the Starfish Story is about a man who's walking along a beach, and he saw a young guy throwing something back into the ocean. And as he approached, he saw a starfish, and he walked up to the young boy and said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, the tide's going out, and the starfish are stranded, so if I don't throw them in the ocean, they'll die." And the man said to the boy, "There's miles and miles of beach and thousands of starfish. You can't possibly make a difference." And after politely listening, the boy reached down, picked up a starfish, threw it back in the ocean, and said, "Made a difference for that one." Thank you.
So Roy, with this in mind, this challenge coin goes to you. This plaque, as an unsung hero for extraordinary everyday efforts to do the right thing and your commitment to excellence in your work, all while being humble in your actions, is what makes you Downey's finest. Thank you for furthering our common goal of making our city a better place for all, given the 12th day in February by me, Mayor Rodriguez. Good job, brother. Good job. All right, now take the pictures up front. Donna, you get to stand over there. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, our military banner presentation, Alexander Foscarino. Soldier, how you doing? Let me talk about you for a second. Alexander Thomas Foscarino was born and raised in Downey. For 15 years, actively participated in Boy Scouts of America, where he earned the rank of Eagle Scout and acted as an assistant scoutmaster. He's a graduate of Warren High School. Go Bears. That's right. My kids went to Downey High School, but I'm saying anyways, go Bears. All right?
My parents went to Downey.
All right. He's a graduate from Norwich University of Vermont, where he graduated with a magna cum laude with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science and Information Assurance. Upon graduation, he was commissioned into the United States Army at the rank of second lieutenant. In 2016, he was deployed to Kuwait as a quick reaction force team member for the region to provide security for VIPs going to Iraq. Midway through his deployment, he was promoted to the position of medical logistics officer, where he supported over 3,000 soldiers. After his deployment, Alexander completed his emergency medical technician certificate program in El Paso Community College, and he moved back to California and is currently attending Rio Hondo Fire Academy to pursue his career and dream as a firefighter. Please join me with a round of applause for our soldier, Alexander Foscarino. So before I give this to you, this was your banner that was probably displayed all through our Firestone Boulevard in our city. And so my son was the first banner we put in our city. And so this was very personal to me. In the past, we would ask the families to come, and if they didn't want to come or they moved out of the area, we just kind of let them stack up in our office. I wanted to make sure every single veteran that comes back to our city, they see this. And so we went one step further, and we sometimes went to their homes to deliver them. But we're very fortunate, Alexander, to have you come home. We're very fortunate. You're safe. You're alive. You're back here with us. You're our future. You're what Downey is. Hopefully one day you're sitting up there with these guys. And, you know, I want to tell you, I'm so thankful for your service. I can't say it again. God bless you, man.
Thank you, sir. I just want to thank my Lord. I want to thank my amazing family in this amazing city for helping develop me into the person I am today.
Thank you. Amen. Right on. As we look into that, I'm taking a fill in this moment.
Here you go. Good evening, everybody, and thank you again for bearing with us. We've gone a little bit off schedule of our agenda, but this evening it is my pleasure as the newest member of our council. I was sworn in the middle of December, and I've been busy selecting people to be part of commissions and be part of committees to represent District 4. And as I thought about who I wanted to represent this particular committee, I thought about an individual that has been part of our community for a very long time, someone who is dedicated, who has a very strong work ethic. And while we actually were opponents during the campaign time, one of the things that she and I talked about during our campaign is that we would both run a strong race and that we would be opponents, not enemies. We are very blessed and we are very fortunate to live in a city that is full of people that care about this community. We love our city. We love our residents. And we truly want to do the right thing for the right reasons. And after election time, I reached out to her, and I wanted to thank her for being such a phenomenal lady. And she's well known in this community. She is well respected, and I was very, Carrie Uva, I was very glad that you accepted my appointment to the Measure S committee. And Carrie Uva has been an attorney for the past 27 years, right, Carrie? You've been a realtor also in this community. You're born and raised in this wonderful city we call home and we call Downey. You have been involved with the Chamber of Commerce, and you have been involved in various other committees. In fact, you serve with Public Works, and you have a wonderful heart. And I am really fortunate to be able to work with you. Again, a little bit about Carrie. When we sat down and we had dinner, I knew, of course, I liked you tremendously because as a Latin person myself, we could see the Latin and the Italian part of the background. Carrie has been a member of the Downey Association of Realtors since 1992, and she served as president in 2016. She's also a member of the California Association of Realtors, serving as a state director in 2014 through 2016. The California Bar Association, Italian American Lawyers Association, and Southeast District Bar Association. She enjoys living and working in the city of Downey. In 2016, Carrie became the neighborhood watch captain on her street. And again, she's currently the president-elect of the Downey Chamber of Commerce. She will be sworn in as president in June of this year. And she's also a member of the Downey Kiwanis Morning Club. So thank you, Carrie. I would like to officially call you up. And I would like to appoint you officially to the Independent Citizens Oversight Committee. This committee will be really busy over the next several weeks, several months. We have such an ambitious project. And this is really the largest, most robust infrastructure development that our city has seen in its history. And so being part of this committee, Carrie, I know you will serve it well, and I know your experience and your love and your knowledge of the city will be well served in that committee. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to say a few words.
Sure. Thank you, Council Member Frometta and the City Council for this appointment. Gosh, it was just a few months ago when we were opponents in our race for City Council, and now you're appointing me as a commissioner for the Measure S Citizens Oversight Committee. What an honor, true act of kindness, and a wonderful gesture on your behalf. I truly thank you. As you all know, I'm a Downey resident, born, raised, and educated here in the city of Downey. My father, who is in the audience, 85 years young, was born in southern Italy, came to the United States in the early 1960s. He married my mother, a Downey resident. They got married, and they raised myself and my two siblings here in the city of Downey. We all attended Our Lady of Perpetual Help Elementary School, obviously here in Downey. My father and brother are both general contractors and built many homes, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, driveways, fences, you name it, here in the city of Downey. And I know my dad sat in this room many times for planning commission meetings over the years. I'm sure he remembers that. My sister worked for the Downey Police Department for over 10 years. She was a dispatcher for Downey Police Department, and in that work relationship, she married a Downey police officer and had two children, 2 boys, my nephews, who I'm so proud of, Jake and Justin Pope. Justin's here with me tonight. They're both in college. Jake is attending Arizona State University, and very proud of these boys. I helped raise them and very proud of them. My parents always were involved in local community organizations, both here in the city of Downey and as well in the Italian community. And growing up, we learned growing up that giving back to your community is so rewarding, and to always volunteer and always do what's best for your community. I feel that I really followed in my parents' footsteps, and I really enjoy living and working and being here in the city of Downey, and I do volunteer a lot, and I really enjoy every part of it. I really thank the citizens of Downey for everything that they've done for me and for my family. We've really been rewarded gratefully. And I thank the City Council for appointing me as Commissioner on Measure S, and I will be a very active and very vibrant role in that commission, and I thank you for the appointment. Thank you. Oh, sure. Oh, yes.
All right, moving on. Public hearing. There's one public hearing item tonight. Receive public comment on the Federal Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Program 2019-2020 Community Development. City Clerk Duarte, do we have proof of publication? Is there a motion and second to receive and file?
Second.
It's ordered by the mayor. City Clerk Duarte, have you received any correspondence on this matter?
We have not, Mayor.
City Manager Livas, is there a staff report?
There's a staff report, Mr. Mayor. This is will be given by Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I have to bring this down just a little bit. I'm here tonight. For our annual kickoff of the Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Public Comment Period. As the council may know, the City of Downey is an entitlement grantee and is eligible to receive these federal HUD grant funds, and this is part of the process to receive that funding. Each year, we start our CDBG and home funding cycle with their series of public meetings. Tonight is the first of those meetings. Additionally, staff has scheduled 3 community meetings from the end of February to April, and we'll conclude with the comment period with a public hearing in May before you, at which time the council will take action on the final CDBG and home program funding. This year, staff anticipates level funding in these programs, but won't receive a final entitlement amount from HUD until approximately April. And at that time, staff, as soon as we hear from HUD, staff will let the council know of that final allocation of funding. But this just shows our level funding that we believe we'll be receiving this year. For your reference, this is the current budget for CDBG as approved by the City Council last May. As you can see, the budget includes property improvement preservation, public service activities, community development activities, and economic development, and general program administration costs. This is the approved current home budget before you, and this only funds affordable housing activities such as the city's housing rehab program, the affordable housing partnerships, rental assistance program, and general admin costs. Staff has scheduled 3 community meetings beginning in 2 weeks. As you can see here, that's scheduled for Wednesday, February 27th at noon. And we've scheduled various times and days so that the community can get out. If they can't get to one, they can get to another. So we've then scheduled another one for Saturday, March 9th at 10 a.m. and then a last one on Thursday, March 14th at 6 p.m. in various locations. In addition to this, we will also be sharing our flyer through social media outlets and the city's website. It will be published in the newspaper, and printed flyers will be handed out throughout the various city facilities. This year, we also plan to work with the neighborhood watch coordinators and group, as well as use the Nextdoor app to try and get this out as much as possible to the community. And we've also scheduled our meetings, I think, with 2 weeks in between them so that they can get out. If they can't get to one, they can get to another. As mentioned, this process will conclude with a final public hearing, at which time the council will then take action on the final budget for the home and CDBG funds. That concludes staff's report, and I'm available for any questions.
Do any members have any questions or comments?
No comments.
Really quick, thank you for the presentation. Appreciate the extra outreach that we're going to be doing. I know in years past we haven't had the attendance at some of these meetings, so I appreciate the fact that we're trying to do a little bit more to make sure that we get our community involved in this, because these are really important funds for us to be able to give to either, you know, home redevelopment or different community organizations that truly need that money. So thank you for the added outreach to make sure we get as many people to show up. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'll now open this item for public comment. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak regarding this matter only?
Move to close public comment?
Second.
Make a motion, we receive and file.
Second. Oh, we don't have to. Never mind.
Good. Should you vote? All right. Vote.
Sorry.
The motion was approved unanimously.
Okay. Let me see here where we're at.
Rhett, have a good night.
Okay, Gilbert, you're up. Staff member comments. City Manager Levis, do you have any comments?
Mr. Mayor, just a couple things. One is I wanted to thank the, Ben's not here tonight, but library staff, Mr. Osqui, Judy Montenegro, and others that put on the event over the weekend for the library to kick off the library's renovation. Certainly there's a lot of things going on. You'll start to see a rollout of a number of items that are intended to provide the community with as much information as we possibly can on the various projects. You'll see that in social media and our website and other means. There will also be some project boards that will be put up at various parks throughout the city. So we're going to really start to see that. The community will see that in earnest. Councilmember Frometa was correct that this is the largest building undertaking we've taken in the city's history. It's roughly $60 million of activity over the next 2.5 years. So you're going to see a lot of things going on, and I think the community should be very proud and very fortunate to see that their sale tax is going to exactly what they had voted for. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for an efficient meeting.
All right. So we will tonight adjourn in memory of Officer Sean Tudor, 30, of Mobile Police Department, killed in line of duty. Staff Sergeant Joshua Z. Beal, 32, of Carlton, Virginia. And Sergeant Cameron A. Madoc, 26, of Spearman, Texas, for supporting Operation Freedom's Sentinel. Army Chief Warrant Officer 2, Jonathan Farmer, 37, of Boynton Beach, Florida. Navy Chief Cryptologic Technician Shannon M. Kent, 35, of upstate New York. U.S. Department of Defense Civilian Scott A. Wirtz of St. Louis, Missouri, who is supporting Operation Inherent Resolve. Honorable John W. Bunnett, former judge and longtime Downey resident. Retired Downey firefighter Paul Cruz. Please a moment of silence. Meeting adjourned.